Hi everyone, and welcome to Creative Chelsey. Today I'm excited to be sharing with you my second alternative project using the June 2022 paper pumpkin kit called Pick of the Crop. This fun kit created 9 cards, and you're going to get everything you need to make these 3 original cards. And that also includes the stamp set and a Stampin' Spot ink pad. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how you can use this card base to create 2 cards, and they're very simple cards and really quick and easy to put together. So here's the first one and then the second, and you can see they're very similar in design. If you are new to my channel and want to see more of my videos, click on the subscribe button and then the bell for notifications. I would love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and help you with any of your paper crafting needs. To purchase any of the products you see me use today, or to get your own subscription to Paper Pumpkin, you can use the links below to order and subscribe, and they're in the description. So let's go ahead and get started making these cards. So the first thing we want to do is take our card base from the kit, and we're going to trim it down and separate the front from the back. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut it at 1/16 smaller than a full card base. So just like the video from yesterday. So that would be 4 3/16. And I'm going to do the same for the back. Now, if you're interested in seeing what came in the Paper Pumpkin kit for this month, or watch any of my other alternative videos for this month's Paper Pumpkin kit, you can click on the link that I will put it up here in the top right corner, and it will take you to my playlist. All right, so once we have those two, I'm just going to put my paper trimmer off to the side for a minute, and we're going to separate the front image into 2 pieces. Now we need to take a quick look at this card here. I don't know if you can see, but I did a tear going through the blueberries and strawberries. And that was my original idea, but then it just didn't quite look good. So I did a second tear near the bottom and then used this die cut piece here to cover up and create some berries in these little berry baskets. So that's what we're going to do now, is we're going to create a tear right along the top of these berry baskets here. Okay, and we're going to be covering that up with this die cut for this second card. So it's pretty easy to do. I do like having a little bit of that white showing, so I am going to hold it like this and tear towards me instead of away from me. I could also go this way if I feel more comfortable tearing this direction, but you want to make sure that you can get that nice white edge, and you just want to follow the direction of the fruit. So it's going to be a slight angle, and you can have it be, you know, just a little bit. It doesn't need to be totally straight like mine is. It's kind of up and down. So that's the first part for our card. And here is the second part. So next we're going to cut this piece to fill in for the bottom of this one here. Okay, so we need to make a mark. So you're just going to put the 2 right up to each other. And then on the back, just make a mark with a pencil where you need to cut it. And you need to cut it at the tallest area. So you see here that this is the area that's the tallest, and we're just going to go ahead and cut a straight cut across. So just mark it on this side. You want to give yourself just a little bit of wiggle room too. So not totally on that line, just a little bit farther up. So then you're going to take your paper trimmer and you're just going to cut right where that mark is. And that's going to be at about 3 1/8 is where I'm at for mine. Okay, so we're using the larger piece here for that bottom. And then the smaller piece is actually too small to fit for this second one. And so we're going to pull in a envelope for this. So I'm going to go ahead and trim my envelope to open it. If you don't want to use an envelope and you have a coordinating color of cardstock, you could use that color cardstock as well. So I'm going to use this backside piece, and I'm just going to first trim off the sides here. And I'm going to cut it to 4 3/16, which is the width that I need for my card base. And then I can just use that whole piece. If I do want to trim it, I could, but that piece is ready for my card. So this is that extra piece from the card base that we're not going to use. I do use it in another alternative, so hold on to this piece and come back later this week to see how I use that one on another card. So these two cards do need a card base, and so I'm just got 2 regular size card bases that are thick basic white cardstock, and I'm going to just go ahead and add these to my card base. And I'm just going to place adhesive along the top edge to start with so that I can tuck things underneath. So this is the top part, and then tuck in the bottom part here. I do want to make sure it lines up with the edges of the top, and it's about the same thickness border all the way around. So you can see how it nice and seamless border. And then for the second one, I'm going to start with the envelope piece and place that at the top. Okay, so you'll get something like that, and then you'll just add this one to the bottom, and you can add adhesive all the way around. Again, make sure everything lines up nicely. Okay, so next we're going to add our die cut berry piece to the berry basket, and if you want to pop it up with dimensionals, you can. Or you can just use your adhesive and lay it right onto the card base. And you just, again, want to fill in and cover those existing berries. So now we've got a nice full berry basket, as well as this fun half berry card. So let's go ahead and talk about our stamping, and then we'll finish putting all those pieces together. So I had some of these strawberry and blueberry die cut pieces left over, but I only had 3, and I used all 3 here on my cards for my example. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually stamp some for you, and then we will color and cut them out. So I've just got some scratch basic white cardstock here, and I need my stamp set that came in the kit. So it does come with a strawberry and some blueberries. So this will be a perfect way to use these stamp sets. So if you've already run out of these strawberry blueberry die cut pieces, so here is a technique that you can use to make more of those fruits for your cards. So I'm just going to use Calypso Coral, the large ink pad. And then I'm also bringing in Garden Green. And you could easily use your Stampin' Spot Calypso Coral that came in the kit, and any dark green for this technique, okay? So the Calypso Coral is the lighter color of the two. So I'm going to begin with that color, and I am inking up just the strawberry. You can see how I'm using the edge of the ink pad to keep the Calypso Coral color away from the stem. If I did get a little bit in there, it's okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing here with Garden Green and just ink up the stem with that color. And then go ahead and stamp. And then I'm just going to continue to repeat that process to create 3 or 4 strawberries. If I get a little bit of green or red, that's okay. Strawberries always start off green, and so they turn red later. And so if you have a little bit of green at the top or something, that will just help it look a little more natural. So I've got my 4 strawberries there. And then for my blueberries, I am going to use the Night of Navy color. What I like about this color, and most of the time I actually don't like this feature, is that when you get it a little wet, it can separate into some reds and purples. And that's kind of a fun feature for these blueberries. So I'm going to go ahead and have that be a positive thing instead of a negative thing. So if you wanted to, you can just go ahead and leave these uncolored, but I thought it would be fun to show you how the blending, what is this called? Blender pen, how it works. I don't use this very often. So this pen has 2 tips, and they're the same width tips on both sides. And what you can do is you can pick up color with it from your ink pads, and then you just add it onto your stamped image, and it will eventually kind of run out of color. And so that's kind of one of the unique things about the blending pen, or the blender pen. So I just wanted to make sure that it was clean. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of this Night of Navy ink, and then right where the 2 start is where I'm going to first add that color. And you can see that as I move out and away from that area, it gets lighter. I'll give you a close-up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and repeat that for my other blueberries. Okay, so all 4 blueberries are colored on the left side, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the right blueberry. And I'm just going to have the shadow be here at the bottom, and then work my way in small strokes up to the top where it should be lighter. So I haven't seen quite yet some of the separating that I talked about, but I think you'll start to see a little bit of it. So I needed a little more ink there. This one's going to be a little darker blueberry. The nice thing is that if you do a couple different images, so I've stamped 4 here, then I don't have to use them all. So go ahead and, stamp a little bit more than you need, and then you can see which one you like the best. Okay, so I've got all 4 blueberries colored in. You can see a little bit of that color changing happening on that one, just near the top. So that's kind of a fun thing there. Then for my strawberries, you can clean your blender pen with some scratch paper until it just runs clear. You want to make sure that you're aware of your tip. So you want to keep a nice tip there. And then we're going to do the same thing here with our strawberries. And I'm going to do the darker color just here on the bottom. And because I'm using the same color that I had for my ink, down where it's dark will probably bleed a little bit, so I don't get a lot of definition on that area. So if you don't want to use quite so much ink, you can always lighten it up. One thing about the blender pen as well is that you don't want to do too much marking. So if you've already gone over one area, you don't really want to go over it too many times because it can kind of pull up your cardstock and make it fuzzy. And we want nice, smooth cardstock. I did add a little bit darker underneath the stem just because I needed to pull in some more color. Here, I'll do this last one and then we can look at it in close up. So you can see that I'm using short brush strokes. That's mainly so that the color fades evenly across my image. Okay, and it's very painterly. It doesn't need to be 100% filled in there, okay? So then once that Calypso Coral color is gone, you can do the same thing with your garden green. Just a little bit of color in those leaves there. If you even wanted to add a little bit of green, you know, in your actual strawberry, you could do that too. Okay. So that is how you use a blender pen and just get some really fun, simple strawberry and blueberry using the stamp set from the kit. Go ahead and cap that. So now we're going to go ahead and fussy cut these out. They're pretty simple shapes, so they're not too difficult to fussy cut. Okay, so there's my strawberry, and then I'll do one blueberry, and then I will pause and finish cutting these off camera. And the blueberry. Okay, so I've gone ahead and finished those, and now I'm going to stamp my greeting. So for this first card, I am going to stamp my greeting here on the envelope paper, and I'm going to use Night of Navy. You can use any dark color. So I've got my hello. I'm going to ink that up. It fits really nicely here between the strawberries and blueberries. There's a close-up. And then I wanted to add a fun greeting here at the bottom. And so I'm doing "You are the sweetest" just in the corner. Simple and cute. And honestly, you wouldn't even have to add these extra elements if you didn't want to. It's a nice, simple card here. For this card, I added an extra layer with just some regular basic white cardstock. I've got this cut to 2.5 inches by 2 3/4 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this just a little higher than center or middle. And then the same greeting, "You are the sweetest." I'm just going to tuck it in underneath the L's here, just like that. I want to make sure I leave some space here at the top so I can tuck it underneath my torn edge. And I do want to add a little torn edge here at the bottom as well, just so that they can work together. If you want to roll up one side, you can too. There. So I'm going to add this with some adhesive and tuck that underneath just here on the right side of the card. Just like that. And then I'm going to add my stamped fruit. So for this one, I only wanted to use the strawberries. I might have an extra blueberry laying around, so I could also add that if I wanted to. For my strawberries, I did add a dimensional near the top and then added a glue dot at the bottom. And that's just going to give me some fun dimension on these strawberries. So this first one I'm going to have sit maybe about there. These are a little smaller than the original die cut strawberries, so I might change up how many I use and the positioning, things like that. This one might go here. Let's see, do I need another one? Maybe another one right there. So I'm going to lay that down. This one will be laying more straight on. So something like that. Maybe bring it over just a little bit so they're not quite on top of each other. Maybe tuck that underneath. There. Okay. So I think that looks good. So that card's all done. If you do have some of the die cuts left over, I'll just show you really quickly how I separated them. You can see right along this edge here that there's no white space. And so I just cut right along that strawberry edge and removed the little blueberry from it. And then added the blueberry to my second card here. So you can see how I have some extra blueberries there. So for this one, I want to kind of have that same idea. We're going to do a strawberry and a glue dot. So a dimensional and a glue dot on that strawberry. Maybe right about there. And then just kind of tuck in some blueberries around that strawberry. These guys are a little bit on the thin side, so I'm going to use some of the edge of the dimensionals. And I could separate these blueberries as well if I wanted to. Let's see. I think this one I'll probably put, well, I kind of colored them all to be going one way, didn't I? So let's put that one with the glue dot flat onto the card base. So if you color the shadows a little differently, then you can position them in different ways. But if you leave them all so they're all sitting about the same way, then it's usually best to leave them that way. So I think I'll just tuck that other one right in behind. I think I'll pop it up. Then it has kind of that same feeling as the original card. Let's see. There. Okay. That's super cute. Couple of fruits falling out of the baskets. Says you're the sweetest. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me create these fun cards using one card base from the kit to create 2 handmade cards. If you're interested in getting written instructions or seeing close-up images of these cards, you can visit my blog, creativechelsey.com. If you'd like to subscribe to get your own paper pumpkin kit, please use the link below in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Have a creative day. Bye.